All right, good morning. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited you're here. I'm going to show you everything I teach my grade 1. Now, this stuff is good for kindergarten through grade 3, various things, because it depends what age your kid's at, which level they're at, because in some things my child's advanced, and some things they're not, and I think that's like most kids. Maybe not, I don't know, but the kids I have taught, that's the way they are. So I'm going to show you some products today, just a couple actually, but I'm going to show you one that I wouldn't buy again. So first I'm going to show you, this is a tabletop robot, and I thought it was pretty great to put together. Why? Because it was easy and simple, and I could do it, and I did it with my 6-year-old, and then he could do some parts as well. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't talk a lot about the motor, but you're working on a motor inside this tabletop crab. So I thought it was pretty cool. An easy mechanics kit, and I don't think it's much money. The next thing we have is what I wouldn't buy again. It was pretty expensive. It is the Kiva planks. I don't know if you've seen them anywhere, but essentially what comes inside it is a few of these. So 2 of these, I believe, at least 2 of those. And what they are is they're just little wood planks, okay? So do you see that? I mean, that one, I think a dog probably bit that one up, or I stepped on it, but essentially they're all smooth wood planks. Now, so it is Kiva Contraptions, and I wouldn't buy it again because all it is these planks. That's it. And then 2 balls. That's it. I mean, that is literally it, and you're supposed to build these amazing contraptions with it, which, I mean, I think any blocks are suitable. Lego is suitable. Like, I get it that, I mean, I don't know. And it comes with this book that shows you how to build those things in there. But essentially, all you're doing is it's blocks. That's it. So it's just not that exciting. It was a lot of money, and I wouldn't purchase it again. I just wouldn't. So that is the Kiva Contraptions. Again, I think there's a lot of different things that I think, you can do the Great Marble Race. You can usually find those used for $10. And then you can do Legos. So you can do building a lot of things, and you can just have blocks. Remember I showed you, I don't know if you remember how I showed you how I went into Home Depot and I bought just all the different types of woods, including a bunch of 2x4s. I had them cut it up, or you can have them cut it up. I've had them cut up wood there before, but my husband and I just cut it up for them and made a bunch of blocks. And that was amazing. That was probably the best Charlotte Mason toy that we have ever had. And they still use it to this day. Okay. So let's get into all the different subjects that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about language arts, science, history, blah, 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 for various ages. So let's start with handwriting. Of course, we use handwriting without tears. Again, we do one thing a day. One thing a day, just because handwriting is not our strong suit. It's a motor planning thing, which comes along with the apraxia, but that is how we do it. So we're working on handwriting, but that doesn't stop us from going ahead in math, from going ahead in reading, from going ahead in writing, from going ahead in language arts. It doesn't stop us. There's 2 parts to language arts. There's the creativity, and then there's the learning sentence structure, printing, and stuff like that. At least that's how I divide it in my head. And I guess there's a third, because there's learning to read, okay? But anyway, so I've broken that down to 3 different categories. I don't use an all-in-one curriculum because we're at different levels for different things. So for creativity, what we do is I bought Braid Writer before, and I don't think it's worth the purchase to buy again. But one of the things that it taught me was that just to have your child dictate to you stories. And so that's what we do, is because he's at that age where he can't handwrite yet. Well, not at that age, but he can't handwrite yet. We sit down in front of the computer and he dictates these amazing stories. And you can start, any kid doing it, I find it's easier to start with something that they love. Like if they watch Pokemon, whatever it is kids watch that they love, and then kind of creating a story from there. You can even get blank books. You can buy them on Amazon. And they're just blank books, or you can make blank books with paper and then have them dictate to you a sentence per page. Don't grammatically correct it. Do not grammatically correct it. Just write it as is, and then have them draw a picture to it. Because working on grammar is later on. Right now, you just want to stimulate a love of writing and a love of dictation as well, like to you, a love of conversation, if you will, and creativity. So that's what we work on for that. And now I guess let's jump into reading. I'll show you what we do for reading. So we use an interesting system, and yes, I have all the systems. I have all about reading. I literally have every language arts system there is, I'm pretty sure. And this is the easiest for me to use. So since we have used reading eggs, I mean, that's a great way to learn letter sounds and things like that. We used to use that. now we have moved on to, now that you know letter sounds, we're moving on to just learning to actually read. And so this is the Diane Craft system, the right brain readers. This is the sight word cards. So we do is that a snake or is that excuse me, a burp is embarrassing. Okay, so let me this will be the last one. Mom could hear the boys shouting, my turn, no, my turn on the slide. So we use these and separately, because these go with this book system. Where's the book? Right here. So this is at that level 1A. So we are all the way at the end, but just let me show you the beginning. So these are all the words you need to know in order to read the story. Is, a, my, and you're gonna love fat, pat, rat, sat. Okay, come on in. What's up? You gotta be quick about it. So now Pat is a rat, right? Because now they know these words, the sounding out words, fat, pat, rat, sat, and they have learned these sight words, if you will. So then they can read the story. Now it comes with these because sometimes it helps kids who have issues reading to use this, but we don't really use that. He just reads the story. So then the next one, it's got more words from here, and you go on and on and on. Okay, so it builds. So they're called the boring little books that always work. They're about $20 a book. They are $20 a book. And yeah, there you go. The boring books that always work. The craft right brain readers. That's what we used, and it really is instant success. Right brain sight words card with I mean, it is. It happened so fast, and we had done all about reading. And we were slowly making progress with that. It's not that we weren't making progress, but it's very dry, and I wanted something a little quicker to really get in and going. And I've tried a bunch of different reading systems, and this was definitely one of the most successful. Okay, now to additionally add in additional sight words, and I really love watching him read. Like, it's an amazing accomplishment in this household, because even though speech-wise we're still working on speech, just seeing a child read is just amazing. Okay. So these are the Dolce pre-primer sight cards, and they're by Frazzles, F-A-R-A-Z-Z-E-L-S. Sorry. And this is the Dolce primer. So he's nailed these, right? So he knows these. He learned blue, stuff like that. These are based on, the Dolce cards are based on the 500, I want to say 200 or 500 most used words in children's books. And yeah, so we've worked on those, and it's very easy to do. It honestly takes 2 minutes every day. It's not really, it goes so fast. They learn it so quickly. And then you can flip it over and do the other side, and they know how to read those words, right? So sounding out words, again, we do a bit of that when we're reading throughout, so it really is hands-on practice, and these are just more words. So we can increase our vocabulary. All right, so what should we talk about next? We could talk about history. So history, I have a couple books that I'm using for history. Now he loves history and geography, like just eats it up like no one's business. And I started doing Curiosity Chronicles with him, but I'm gonna save that and start doing it next year, just because there's so much good information about who invented writing and who invented math, and so because of that, they're very short lessons. I'm just gonna save it till it gets a little older so that we can really get it in our memory and just, I don't know, because it's so interesting. But I have a lot of different history stuff. I mean, I have a massive amount of history stuff. And there's a lot of different things that I've showed you. Oh, I didn't put the Abeka book down here, but we're also, because I can't find the one book that we are reading. I think I saw it the other day. No, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But anyway, I've showed you in other videos, we are using one of the Abeka books. I use both secular and Christian materials. And we are using one of the Abeka books to go through, but those are just readers that we go through because they teach good moral lessons. So the grade 1 level readers are what we're using. He's not reading them, I'm reading them to him. Pilgrims, I have showed you this book in our history things, if you saw it. If not, no problem. And I started on I skipped a lot of ancient history stuff just to go to, because I wanted to start when they landed in America. That's just personally what I was looking to start, and so that's what I did. And it is very interesting. So it has words that you can read. It's even got like a Unit 6 review you can. So like I said, it does start with the story of God and things like that. But I just skipped all the way to Christ Reforms His Church. I just skipped tons of that stuff. Only just personal preference, again, because I wanted to start A New World Is Found. That's where I wanted to start. That's what I was really focusing on, is the first Americans, because it's very interesting. Now, I also bought I bought another curriculum, the Star Spangled Banner, and I started doing it, and I was very disappointed only because it's very dry. I like stories from a perspective of, and Abeka does that, stories of a child at that time, what their life was like, and a story regarding it. In the Abeka, they have one where a flood is coming, and so in her house, and then the native people help her, and things like that, like the little pilgrim girl, and how close her family was with them after that, and stuff like that. So it's very interesting, and I think that history can be very interesting, and that's what I want to read, is the interesting things. So a new world is found. So very interesting how the 13 colonies were found. And yeah, again, it's got the Lewis and Clark, big preachers, the wagon trains, pioneers, stuff like that. Nation grows. So now I tie that in with My America, My World. This is by Abeka. This is grade 1. This book was $20. So this is History for Little Pilgrims by Christian Liberty Press. And this is, again, so I use a lot of Christian materials, but I use a lot of secular, and I'm going to show you the secular ones as well. So this is My America, My World. Again, very simple. You don't need a reader's manual for it. So these are the things that we're going to cover in there. So good things about America, symbols of America, and things like that. So My America, My Home. Some of that I do change when I read it, like I think is the best country in the world because we don't always live in America. I change it to it is one of the best countries in the world. So that's just what I do. But I'm sure people would disagree with that. So My America's Freedoms, different stuff. See how short it is though? Like the freedom of worship, the freedom of speech, it explains what it is. Freedom of press, freedom of assembly. And then this is interesting. It's like, okay, because we started with 13 colonies, that's what it used to look like. It had 13 stars, and then we came to this, right? So it's a symbol. So it is raised over every school and government building in our land. Okay, anyway, you get it. The only thing I don't like about Abeka is every morning at school I stand with my class because Abeka was made for Christian schools. So that's the only thing I don't like about it, but very interesting, very good. Let's see what else we got. We got mathematics. I have jumped between a bunch of different maths, and I always come back. I mean, I bought online maths, math with confidence, and they're all good. They're all good. But this I come back to because it's just very, let me show you. This is like in the very beginning. So it starts in grade 1, but really you can start this anytime your child's ready because I use it for my kindergartner. And what I like about this book is like sums with 8, and then you'll go and you'll do the next one. And it's very interesting, teaches you a lot of different ways to add, right? We're still in the addition one because this is mastery. We're making sure we master addition before we move on. And that's another thing is I was overwhelmed. I grew up on not the mastery, but the spiral, and I'm very overwhelmed with math. So this works wonderfully to teach. Sums with 9. Do you see how we move sums with 9? And then we're moving up to sums with 10. One page a day. Also, one of the things I do as well is I homeschool year-round. The reason I homeschool year-round is because, A, it makes for less stressful weeks. Like, it's just a lot less stress on my plate. And even sometimes, like on a Saturday or whatever, we'll pull out the math and do one thing of math. Like before, on their chore list, it says schoolwork needs to be done. And I decide that day what I got time for or what I'm in the mood for. Because sometimes, every once in a while, hey, maybe if you're not feeling well, hey, then this day, no, you don't want to do schoolwork, or you're only going to do math with each of them. You know what I mean? Or we're going to do a full course load that day. So schoolwork always varies, but it's always done kind of thing is kind of how I try to do it. Okay, let's look at more creativity, creative problem solving. Creative problem solving. This is the Critical Thinking Company. I bought all the Critical Thinking Company's books for, yeah, all their books. I mean, I think I dropped a couple hundred on them. And creative problem solving, this was the best one out of all of them. I got the maths. I got a bunch of different ones. This is the best one. Like, look, lightning is going to strike the umbrella. Use your magic pencil to keep the man safe. So they have to come up with something. What can they draw to keep the man safe? So different things, right? So he loves it. He loves doing this stuff. The earthworm, because it's creative. About to be eaten below. It's a special pet of the fisherman's son. He just realized his father used it by mistake. Use your magic pencil to help the earthworm before it is too late. So lots of different things, lots of different ideas. We go through a couple of them. He loves to do it, though. He loves to do this book. So creative problem solving. And I love to do that book. Another thing we were working on that we are almost done, we used to do it on Sundays. He would get in my bed in the morning, jump in when he woke up, and I would pull it out of the nightstand. And we haven't done that in a long time, but it was 100 fun crossword puzzles for kids. So they get more complicated as they go up. Now, see level 2. So these are the clues up here, and these are across and down. And you have to, so every once in a while he would write a letter when we were doing it. But it was just something that we did together, and I loved it. I loved that so it had clues up there. And yeah, I just thought I can't do a lot of crossword puzzles. I swear to you, I don't know if they're British or what, and they say they are for kids, and I cannot do them, but this one I can do. Ages 6 and up, and I think it's fine with 5 and up, to be honest, but whatever floats your boat. Okay, so another book that we randomly go through that is super cool is just geography facts, because he loves geography. I just pull it out and I'm like, during breakfast, hey, there's a country in Asia with a flag that's totally one of a kind. Nepal. So, kind of interesting. The country with the most islands on Earth is Indonesia. It's the most islands of any country in the world. Interesting, if you ask me. An island... there's an island where ownership switches between 2 countries every 6 months. It's between Spain and France, actually, because I read this part before. And it switches, and no one's really allowed on it. I assume the customs nightmare, but for whatever. So very interesting. Now let's talk. Okay, one more thing before we get to science is this is moving beyond the page. So it's a very dynamic. Oh shoot, did I bring it? It's a very dynamic thing, and we do it at breakfast. I do it with both boys. This is how I teach together because I can't really teach them together. So they're eating breakfast, and this is adjectives describe. Find 2 words from the adjective list that could be used to describe each noun. So a jar, and then so it does all different types of stuff, all different types of. Let me show you some more. There's 4 different concepts. I did a whole video on this curriculum yesterday, and I think I posted already, but look, this is concept 2, ages 6 to 8. So you can get the 5 to 7, the 6 to 8. If you're debating between the 2, I would go 6 to 8, because the 5 to 7 is pretty, having a 7-year-old do it is pushing it, because it's just very childlike. Read through the list of solids, liquids, and gases. Write an L, S, or G in each box to identify the state of matter. Then color the boxes that contain rhyming words with the same color. So it's just interesting. So we can just sit there at breakfast and they can point, right? So is a can of soup solid, liquid, or gas? So pretty easy stuff. Let's see what else we got in here. Let me show you some more. See, just so you can see. I mean, it's just such an interesting curriculum. It's not cheap, but just don't buy I don't think you need the books personally. I've read the books. I bought the books. I don't think you need them, but they're fine books. Like the storybooks that go along with it, you know what I mean? Identify each pattern and label each object in the pattern as solid, liquid, or gas. Then decide if the pattern is an AABB, ABC, or ABAB pattern, and make your own pattern at the bottom. So they talked about patterns before, but essentially in the year before 5 to 7, they did a whole intensive book on patterns. But essentially patterns are AABB, ABC, or ABAB. And yeah, so solid, liquid, gas. Solid, liquid, gas would be ABC, ABC. If it was solid, solid, liquid, liquid, gas, gas, that's AABB. All right? I only know because I read that first book. Yes, I did the whole program. I couldn't get my son, my one son, to do any of that stuff. Like the 5-year-old, I couldn't get him, the 5 to 7 curriculum, I couldn't get him to do like nothing of it. He wasn't there emotionally. Choose 3 solids, list them on the sheet, and write a word or 2 that describes each using your senses. So this isn't our main science curriculum. So anyway, they have different concepts. So that's concept 2. Concept 1 is community. I thought I brought the community book in. But so this is the teacher's manual. They each come with a teacher's manual. Very interesting. Okay, so let's talk science. I want a really solid science, a really solid math for my kids because I want them to go to college by 12 concurrently with high school. An easy schedule if that happens, like one class at a time or something. So let's talk about rocks. Let me show you one. So this is the geology. Okay, so these books are a real science for kids book. I have all of their curriculum. They're really great. They're really great because let me show you, because it teaches college age concepts to little kids. So moving place, let me just pick a book to try and show you. So the hydrosphere. So there's a book in here so the biosphere, the magnetosphere. So Earth's spheres. Let's talk about Earth's spheres. One way to learn about Earth is to study Earth's spheres. A sphere is like an object that is shaped like a ball. We can see that the Earth is shaped like a ball when we look at it from space. So we can see that Earth is a sphere. Earth's spheres are the layers that surround Earth. We can study these spheres one at a time or together to learn how Earth works. So it's just very cool to read through these with kids to help them. Okay, so these are amazing. When you get to the atoms one about the atoms and the molecules, I mean, it explains science to me in ways that I'm pretty sure I could have been a genius if someone had this curriculum when I was a kid, because I was lost with that stuff. Honestly, I don't know how I kept making it through school. I don't know how, but I did. But I just, I don't know how. By God's good grace, I guess. All right, so anyway, there you go. That is what I teach my grade 1. It is not a hefty schedule. It's an easy schedule. We go through it pretty quickly. But yeah, anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Can you say, please like and subscribe?
Please like to like.
And hit the bell for notifications.
Hit the bell for notifications.